I woke up this morning bummed out. It's been raining really hard. Health officials recommended to not go surfing for at least 72 hours after a major rain. There's too much pollution that washes into the sea. But more than the weather, I'm a little annoyed at myself, because I've realized I've become complacent. I've accepted the degraded world we've created. I'm no longer fighting the source of the problems, but instead I've readjusted to accept this as natural.
This is the problem of shifting baselines. It's a new term coined in 1995, but it's increasingly relevant to the world we live in. A baseline is a reference point from the past. It's how things were when the world was pristine, unaffected by humans. When we lose track of these reference points and accept today's degraded world as natural, we have shifted our baseline. Change is easy to lose track of. For an everyday example, just take a look at the length of shorts worn by basketball players today. You may or may not have forgotten they used to be somewhat shorter, like this. Or maybe you haven't shifted your baseline, and you actually do remember this. Shifting baselines is a serious problem because it's the process that's behind the slow, incremental degradation of our environment. You can call it slow change, creeping decline, or slow motion disaster.
In times like these, in times like those, what will be, and so it goes, and it always goes on and on and on and on and on.
The answer is almost certainly shifting baselines. People just didn't notice the slow, incremental decline. If you don't have constant reminders of how things used to be, you forget. San Diego Councilwoman Donna Fry can tell you her baseline for the health of seawater.
When I was a kid, my mom and dad would take me to the beach, and if I had a cut on my hand, they would say, hey, get out in the ocean and go for a swim because it'll help it heal more quickly.
Today's youth have no such memories of the ocean. Their knowledge of the sea is reflected by members of the San Clemente, California high school surf team, such as three-time state champion Colleen Melberg.
We all get our hepatitis A shots. It's just part of the sport these days.
That's the shifted baseline. We can see it with the condition of our beaches, which is summarized annually by the Surfrider State of the Beach Report. Last year, there were over 20,000 beach closure days reported by NRDC. But you have to stay alert to the changes. Recently, one major city in the U.S. proudly proclaimed over 90% of its beaches were clean enough to be open every day of the summer. But what if 5 years from now, they're proud to announce that 80% of the beaches were open? The original baseline for beach health needs to remain at 100%. And the worst cases of shifting baselines are when you have no idea that something was lost. Surfers visiting Dana Point, California today see only a marina and assume that that is all that has ever existed there. But older veterans remember Killer Dana, one of the finest surf breaks in Southern California, which today is nothing but a memory and a marina. So how can we prevent shifting baselines? By developing an awareness of change, which begins by looking at your local beaches and wave breaks and asking the question of how things have changed, and by knowing that people and nature are not incompatible, but there are ways to bring the two together harmoniously, the perfect example of which is low-impact development. So please join Surfrider in their efforts to keep our beaches open and the water clean, because surfers like Pat O'Connell hate having to cancel a surf day like this. And keep in mind that as much as things can change for the worse, like this photo showing what a mess Huntington Beach, California was in 1928, with enough concerted effort, things can also change for the better. See how the same stretch of Huntington Beach looks today? Change is possible in both directions, but only if we stay clear of the problem of shifting baselines.